And you're going to join us in a moment with me and Dr. Diane Eager as we look at some evidence and how to think about the evidence. Because we often get challenged here in creation research. You're just a religious organization, just dealing with beliefs. Now, one of the things we've concentrated on is recordings, filming, doing the actual evidence for creation, not just the evidence against evolution. It was characteristic of many of the early creation groups that they spent time attacking evolution. Spot on, guys. Keep it up. It needs to be done because it's the worst theory we've ever had on the planet. It's a theory about what's supposed to happen, what's supposed to be happening, and what will happening based on nothing happening at all, at least in terms of evolution, things evolving, things coming out of one thing and going to another. And of course, the Bible says not only did God create things after their own kind, but it's very emphatic in the New Testament that the evidence of creation, yes, past, is present. The evidence of creation is clearly seen, says Paul in Romans. Now, clearly seen has no other meaning than you can spot it, I can spot it, Richard Dawkins can spot it, David Attenborough can spot it, and therefore don't be surprised that the Bible says you are lying if you say it doesn't exist. So we've taken it as our challenge to sort of make this very visible, very, very viewable, very understandable to the ordinary person by forcing them, nicely of course, to ask the question, given that creation is true, what would the evidence be? Now, in science, of course, you're dealing with, given evolution is the only way to understand things, here's what the evidence is. Now, never do the students get a chance to ask, well, if life evolved from simple chemicals up to advanced molecules to cells to Joseph Hubbard sitting there in his studio in the museum in England, what would the evidence be? They don't think that way. They're not even trained to evaluate evidence. They're just brainwashed with the theory of evolution. So we've made it our business to unbrainwash them, to forcibly challenge them with questions. Now, I keep telling people, haven't been involved in education, whether it be at primary or at secondary, or whether it be tertiary level, lecturing in geology, to actually learn how students think. Sadly, in our modern world, many of them don't know how to think. They know how to absorb the latest theories. And when we first began doing this, I actually was in a very sophisticated education college, and I began by asking the students, how would you know what you know in the first place? And that turned into a course which came to the attention of the Minister of Education, which turned into a series of lectures which we filmed in Griffith University, much to the disgust of many of the authorities because they didn't like us talking positively. That they tolerated us mildly if we attacked evolution, but the minute we went positive and said, the Bible says the evidence for creation is so clear. So in this first little clip, which is coming out of our newest museum, yes, rah, rah, our newest Creation Discovery Centre, yay, 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 here in Queensland, Australia. And Craig was up here and Diane was up here a few weeks ago as we had our grand opening for Dinosaurs, the Monsters God Made. We've done a little bit of shooting on what would the evidence be. Now, Diane and I are going to be seen in this first clip, which really deals with a very simple idea, much credit to Craig and the others who first thought of it, dealing with Lego blocks, because we've got a question on how would you end up with dinosaurs? How would you recognize the evidence of designosaurs? In fact, Joe, I'll be at the museum a little later today. We've got a crowd there. We're going to film it. We've got some people who want to be trained to be museum caretakers because I can't be everywhere at one go, neither can any of our staff. And so we're going to film some of this today. But for the introduction today, to give you a look at the background knowledge of what so aggravated Richard Dawkins, David Attenborough, the BBC, and many of the education groups, why are they so mad at something which is so obvious? And our little video clip here on Designosaurs really demonstrates that.
Well,
I'm here with Dr. Diane Eager again in our Creation Discovery Centre, and we've got, well, what have we got here, Diane?
Well, we have 2 model dinosaurs and we have a whole lot of plastic bits over there.
And we actually have the Lego kit that we bought to make it out of, correct?
Yes, that's right.
But what's the whole point of this in a room full of dinosaurs, real and cast dinosaurs? What are we trying to achieve?
It's to get people to understand what it takes to make a creation.
Okay, so when you look at this unassembled Lego box, you look at the Triceratops, and you look at the actual T-Rex, what do we ask the kids to do?
Well, we asked them, how long would it take for those unassembled plastic pieces to form one of these? One of the Triceratops or the Tyrannosaurus?
All by themselves?
All by itself.
And have we had any kids not get the answer so far?
So far they've all been really smart. They know very well that unassembled Lego blocks do not make themselves into dinosaurs.
In fact, folks, you can learn a lot about evangelism from this, because I had one little guy, 4 or 5 years of age, and we started talking about God, and he said, I don't believe in God. And so I asked him, did he like making Lego? Oh, yes, mister. I said, do you like making those little Lego mans, the robots ones or thing? Oh, great stuff. I said, have you ever had the Lego blocks turn into a man by himself? No. I said, so you had to be smart to put it together? Yes. I said, well, and then he said, I believe in creation now. You see, anybody can see this. That's what the Bible says. The whole of the creation reveals the handiwork of God, the Creator. In fact, Dr. Eager, didn't I give you one of these unassembled sets, and you have to take a fair while to turn it into a T-Rex or a Triceratops?
Yes, I put the T-Rex together.
Okay, now, did it happen by itself, or did you need your brains?
No, I needed my brains, and I also needed some instructions. I had to read through a whole lot of a little booklet with lots and lots of information in it, and somebody else with another brain must have put that there. So a lot of brains and a lot of information went into that Triceratops.
So don't be surprised, even the Lego kit says Creator. Good on you, Lego, for telling the truth, because evolution is absolutely impossible as a chance random process of any sort. Oh, things fall apart by chance, things just disintegrate randomly, but they don't make anything new at all. Remember, the evidence for creation is everywhere.